So great. So welcome everyone. Welcome. And I know we have a couple of first timers here. So welcome to the first timers especially. This is our monthly HeartPowered speaking community call, and we bring together amazing speakers from all over the world to get inspired, to learn from one of us, some other really successful speakers. And if you're here for the first time, you might wonder actually who is actually Monique and why is she doing that in the first place? Well, I'm the founder of HeartPowered Business, and my mantra is speak up, scale up, impact the world. And we've helped hundreds of clients really from more than 50 countries by now to really go professional with their speaking and to double, triple, even quadruple their income with our Voice to Millions framework. And, again, we help people to really use the power of their voice to grow their business. I've been a paid speaker for about 20 years. I've been on stages in more than 25 countries on 5 continents. And here's one thing, if you want to, again, as I said, is our speaker community here. I shared a link in the chat. So if you're not part of our HeartPowered Global Nation, our community of speakers, entrepreneurs, business leaders, change makers yet, click that link, answer 3 questions and join us so you stay up to date of all the amazing things we do to support you step up with your speaking in your business as well. Also, if you would like to step up with your speaking and you want to get more speaking gigs booked on a regular basis, you want to speak at more prestigious stages, maybe even build a bridge from free to paid speaking, or if you are already paid to speak, you want to grow your speaking fee, we have something really cool cooking up and coming your way. In October, we're going to run our famous, fabulous Speaking Booster Challenge again, and I shared that link in the chat as well. So check it out. If you want to be there with us, we would really be happy to have you, to give you my proven roadmap on how to step up with your speaking and how you use speaking to grow your business further. So it will be a 5-day free experience with us where we share that roadmap with you. We give you also little exercises and tasks every day where you can take concrete action. So check that out and join us if that resonates with you. But this session is really not about me. It's all about you and about our precious guest, of course, that will inspire you to really get practical hints and tips so that you can apply them right away, or you get a glimpse into the future and make the future land today, which we are doing today. Also ask your personal questions on how to make your speaking and your business flourish further. Also exchange and connect with other professional speakers. Also, if you have any priority projects running right now at the end of our session today, you can share them with us, get help, support, cross promotion, whatever you need. And, also just simply take a break from your busy days. I'm sure that you have, and just get inspired with us. And we always make that very interactive. So ask your questions anytime, ideally in the chat. Our guests will also stop from time to time and check in if there's anything specific you'd like to dive in deeper. Also mute yourself when you're not speaking, so we have a sparkling recording. And remember, we video record this, but I know you're all speakers, you love to be on screen. So when you're actually saying something, interacting with us, it will be recorded. Okay, so what are we talking about today? We talk about the Metaverse power, how speakers and trainers really benefit from the future trends in Metaverse and from creating NFTs for marketing and implementation. And, I just know that we as speakers and trainers, we really need to stay ahead of the curve to remain a powerful inspiration to our audiences, to our clients, and always remain the thought that it is always a little bit of a step ahead, right? And even if you've never heard of the Metaverse or NFTs, right? And you might think like that's not something that's coming soon. Well, we'll tell you, you want to pay attention to these trends, right? Because the Metaverse will not only offer you entirely new ways of creating and delivering value for your clients, it will also give you almost unlimited possibilities, bigger than what we have available today, to really create assets and income, to attract more clients all over the world and more, right? So again, we have an amazing expert that I learned from, and I need to actually also honor our Neja today, that's with us today from India, because Neja, you made me aware of Arthur, who spoke at the Speaker Federation conference this year in Singapore, Arthur, we got in touch as a result of that, and you definitely got my interest in diving into the metaverse and co-creating that together with you. So we have Arthur Carmazzi today with us, who will really share his personal experiences and insights around the metaverse and NFTs. So who is Arthur? Let me introduce him. He's really ranked the world's #1 thought leader in organizational culture and #10 in leadership for 2021 and 2022 by Global Gurus. He's the creator of the Web3 Global Mentor Exchange and the Wisdom City Learning and Development Metaverse. As the original developer and founder of the accredited Directive Communication Psychology, he's also the best-selling author of 13 books in organizational psychology and cultural performance, including Amazon #1 bestseller Game On, Reinventing Organizational Culture with Gamification. He's really an expert in this field. And we can say that his research and his gamification methodologies have influenced the training and leadership development industry, and now really extended to Web3 platforms to really support organizations and experts like you to maximize the practical application of digital transformation. And there's so much more to say about you, Arthur, but without further ado, I'd like to welcome you, and I invite all of you to wholeheartedly welcome with me, Arthur Carmazzi. Arthur, why don't you come on?
Thank you, Monique.
Take over.
All right. Well, first of all, let me just kind of give you, I've got a few slides that'll kind of give you a little bit of an idea of what is the, what are the basics. Because can I just ask you, how many of you right now know what NFTs actually are? Okay, so how many of you just kind of type in the chat, okay, how many of you know how to use them specifically for marketing and as a speaker or trainer or coach? I guess that's why you're here. Okay, all right. So now you may have heard that. Well, here, let me just kind of share a few slides. All right, and we got a few people here. All right, fantastic. Okay, so let me just share my screen. All right, and so anyway, so what we've got essentially is the concept of a platform, a metaverse. Now, how many of you know what a metaverse is? Okay, now, are all metaverses kind of like, because like there's Meta, which is basically Facebook, but are all metaverses actually coming up? Do you think that all metaverses are kind of the same, or do they have different purposes or what? If you've ever played a game, well, then, that's a metaverse. So there's different formats and different types of metaverses basically for different things, right? So anyway, a little bit, I've already had the introduction, but just a little bit more. I built my business with technology. So we built a whole bunch of online tools and assessments and systems and games that really supported trainers, consultants, and coaches, and specifically more so the DC psychology certified coaches that we've helped to support. Okay, so let me just give you a little bit of an idea of the learning metaverse. All right, first of all, a learning metaverse is not a game, okay, but it is gamified. All right, so that means, because if you're as a speaker, do you guys go out and do you have interaction with your client or with your audiences? Yes, just type yes if you do that. Okay, so when you do, okay, awesome. So when you're interacting with your clients, do you play like certain games? You get them to kind of come together and do stuff? Okay, all right. So awesome. So in this particular case, yes, sometimes, right? So sometimes the thing is that what happens is that you do have an opportunity in the metaverse to do it in a way where basically it's almost like being there, but you're actually because in a metaverse, you can literally create a completely different environment, and you can create rules to that environment that don't necessarily apply to reality. So that means that you could create all kinds of fictional realities that would actually help people to kind of get these aha moments where they're going like, whoa, okay. But more importantly, the way to do this is by getting the collaboration and interaction, and for that matter, the main thing is the ability to take a fantasy world to solve real world problems. So that's what the learning metaverse is more or less all about. Okay, and doing it in an environment where it's basically safe for people, where they feel like, wow, okay, you know, I mean, I can try it here, and because I'm successful here, I'll feel more comfortable in applying it in the real world. Okay, does that make sense to you guys? Okay, awesome. Okay, so you just give you a little bit of idea, like all kinds of metaverses. There's Decentraland, Sandbox. There's, you know, all of these things are basically designed for either entertainment or for socializing or sometimes games. But there's nothing specific that's for learning. In fact, also they've got this whole land rush thing going, okay? Because, you know, there's a few of you from Germany. I mean, if you were to buy a house in Frankfurt or Hamburg, you know, it's probably crazy expensive, right? And no matter where you are, I mean, you know, land prices are always going up, but now there's this whole metaverse land rush. So for 100 square meters of just basic land, recently, it's roughly $13,000. Okay, which is kind of interesting considering you can't live there. So anyway, wait here. Okay, so what are NFTs? Okay, so they're not pictures of monkeys. You've probably seen all the stuff on NFTs. How many of you guys have assume or have seen stuff related to, you know, pictures and art and things like that? And that's kind of what you know NFTs as being. Okay, yeah, and that's the market for NFTs right now at this moment. But NFT is actually a technology. Okay, so let me, you know, you guys know what the difference between an NFT token and a regular token is? Like, for example, Bitcoin is a token. Okay, so let me just kind of give you an idea. So Bitcoin, let's say, is, you know, you would own, you can own like 1% of a Bitcoin, right? But let's say, for example, with an NFT by itself, as an NFT, you have to own the whole thing. So think of it like a movie ticket, right? So you're going to go to a movie. Now, you can't go to the movie theater and say, hey, you know, I only want to watch half the movie, so can you give me half a ticket, right? Because they don't do that. So what they do though is they give you a ticket, you go to a movie, but you can also, the movie theater has, let's say, 100 seats for the same movie. Right? So you're not just buying the movie, you're buying one seat of 100 in the same movie. So that means that you could potentially share that movie with 100 people if you wanted to. Does that make sense? Okay, but you still have to buy the ticket for the whole movie. Does that make sense? So that's kind of what an NFT is. So if you think of it from, let's say, speaking, all right, that means that you would be able to have a speaking engagement as an NFT. So you could say this NFT is actually good for one speaking engagement for up to 1 hour or whatever. Or it could be a coaching thing, or it could be a result-based consulting thing. It could be, I mean, it could literally be anything. Okay, and we'll kind of go through some of the stuff that we can do with it later. Okay. But how many of you guys are besides speakers are also doing some kind of training or certifications or anything like that? Coaching? Just type yes, or just raise your hands or something. And those of you that I can't see, well, you know, awesome. Okay, so what happens is that you can, because an NFT is on blockchain, it's what's called a smart contract, which means that once you have purchased it, once you have given it to someone, once you have done something related to it, that means that value, whatever the value that you've attached to that NFT, is on the blockchain, and it can be checked. So that means that it literally is a contract that can be seen and verified. So, for example, a certification can be easily verified. Okay, it can also give you access to specific things. Let's say, for example, like an online program, if you have purchased an NFT. So that means people can't give away their password and email address to their friends to access your material. Okay, so they'd actually have to have an NFT. So there's all kinds of stuff you can do with it. So NFTs can be related to things like events. They can be related to book launches. They can be related to deeds of virtual land as well as actual land. And, you know, they can be connected to your services in multiple ways. All right. Oop, going the wrong way again. Okay. All right. So anyway, this is basically the thing is going, okay, people are getting more aware of it. There's more adoption expected a lot by 2024. Okay, but this is the most important thing. Right now, nobody's doing things related to learning and development. Okay, there's all kinds of things like play to learn and or earn to play or learn to play. Wait, play. No, earn to earn. That's the one. Okay, but it's all very basic stuff and it's not what we do. Okay, and what we do is make an impact in organizations, and this is where the opportunity lies, and this is, you know, where some of the things that we'll be talking about today are going to happen. Okay, so, you know, the idea is that clients are essentially practically looking for stuff, right? They want to have a practical solution. And especially now, okay, let me ask you guys a question. Are you finding that a lot of your clients are looking for digital transformation or are in some process of digital transformation or have the interest in digital transformation? No, not really. Okay, because okay, at least a lot of the people we work with, that's kind of the big thing. After COVID, everybody wants to do the digital transformation. The only problem is that a lot of the stuff that's related to digital transformation is not necessarily connected to the HR or learning and development aspects. It's all connected mostly to the awesome. Okay, it's all kind of connected to the customer service or customer experience or how you deal with people, but the learning element is not there. Okay, so first of all, how does this resonate with you so far? Any questions, any ideas, and what do you got?
I mean, are we able to get engaged?
Engaged in where specifically?
No, just in terms of asking the question. I thought we'd be in the listening mode rather than just be chatting.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. I'm
okay.
asking.
Thank you so much, Arthur. Yeah, I would believe so. It's back to the awareness and education of organization, how it is so vital nowadays to move into digital transformators and be knowledgeable. And I think you are bringing a very important part at this time of 2022. You're educating people of Metaverse, Web3, blockchain, cryptocurrency. There isn't still a marketplace, but whether we accept it or not, we are moving toward this. Like for me, I follow a lot in Clubhouse on Web3. There is a big conference in Netherlands, like happening about cryptocurrency and Web3 and Web 3.0. So I think it's really, really critical time to bring this to the table and people now to get educated so we can prepare them to the next stage. So I think even digital transformation is going to be a must. Like now we're moving to Web3, cryptocurrency is not, we should even be think of the next level. So if it's kind of becoming nowadays is like, it's not even a trendy thing to say digital transformation, because now the expectation we all should be in a digital transformation. Like me, I literally running 3 different businesses, 100% virtual using technology tools. I don't need to have like a company or an office. So I think, yeah, this is really interesting. I'm so like excited to be a part of this.
Thank you so much, Hussein. Any other questions or ideas or thoughts or anything? Monique, come on, you got something.
You know, Arthur, I think everyone is just really curious to learn more about it. How can they use it for themselves, and what does it mean, and how can they start getting going with it? And you know, Yeah, what are the opportunities behind that? So yeah, why don't we keep going and give people, you know, everyone a little more food for thought, and then I'm sure more questions will be coming up.
All right. Okay. So first of all, I mean, one of the key things is the ability to share solutions, right? Okay. It's not just see. Okay, right now, let's just look at the current state of if you're a speaker, trainer, coach, you're competing often against other trainers, speakers, and coaches. Okay. But within a metaverse context, especially, you know, what we're trying to create, it's actually designed for a collaboration type of system. Okay. So imagine that, let's say, for example, everybody on this call is marketing one thing, which is essentially the idea of going into a whole different level of learning and development. Now, that means that you, regardless of where you are, now you're in a situation where people will be able to see and experience what you do. But what if, you know, the thing is that now we can collaborate, and it's not just maybe, it's not just you. Now we've got like other people that would be able to add or augment a specific solution for a specific organization, right? Because even if you come in, okay, and you do some, whatever it is that you do for the organization, maybe you do a talk, or maybe you also, after the talk, you also do some consulting, or, you know, but the thing is that if an organization knows that they're going to have the potential of a collaborative effort from experts, not just one, do you think that that would elevate the potential interest of going to a place where they can find more expertise to solve a problem rather than just kind of be limited to one person? So having a collaborative effort rather than a single person or a single provider. Does that make sense? Okay, and that's kind of the whole premise of this. The metaverse is going to allow that in a way that was never really possible before, because first of all, I mean, the system is designed as an owner, as a member-owned system. Okay, so it's not just the consultants and trainers who are going to be connecting and collaborating and supporting the expertise for clients, but it's also clients to clients, where clients will be able to meet other people, or potential clients or users, okay, would be able to meet other people that are also, let's say, for example, go ahead. Somebody had something?
No? I think it was just a sound.
Oh, okay. So what you have is you've got this potential where somebody from BMW can meet somebody from let's say BYD in China and create this like joint venture for some kind of electric cars, okay, for example. Okay. So you got all kinds of things that how they did it, and so now how do you deal with all the human resources, and how do you deal with that when you've got people from Germany and people from China working together, for example. Okay, and so now they can go over to Denza, which is an actual joint venture between BYD and Dalmer, and they can ask the HR people from there, how did you solve these problems, and how did you do this? And they can connect with each other, plus also the providers, which are basically us, speakers, trainers, consultants, that are able to kind of give them new insights. Okay. Okay, so let me just kind of give you a few ideas. Okay, number one. Okay. I mean, I know that you're probably doing some kind of content marketing. You've got videos and stuff for your marketing, right? I mean, is that, you know, give me some ideas of what are some of the things you guys are doing to market yourselves right now?
From my perspective, I do digital marketing, which is in the form of social media marketing, email marketing, and article marketing. So there's a different variety of forces, speaking engagement sometimes to promote some of our products and services, but I would say 80% is digital marketing.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yes, Arthur, we are also speakers. I do that too. We try and be present on LinkedIn and do regular writing.
Okay. All right. So the
Link with
articles,
those.
yeah, go ahead.
Yes,
Okay.
posts on our subjects, our core subject. For instance, I will try and write on my, generational diversity, for instance. So that's one way of promoting and also positioning yourself as a thought leader.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, and that's common. And now, the thing is though that people still have to be able to find you and see you, right? And so a lot of times, what some of the most prevalent ways that people will look for a provider initially is going to be either a search engine or a referral. Any comments on that?
Or like
Okay.
the good reviews sometimes, like you Trustpilot, Google reviews, and all of that.
Right.
This part,
Absolutely.
yeah, or as you said, how they search engine optimization to find the top list of search engines, for example.
And now let's just look at the search engines. Okay. If you are a digital marketer and your site is old and your site is fast and you've got a lot of links, you're going to be at the top. So things like Dale Carnegie in leadership training still come up as a top thing, even though they haven't changed their actual training in like 20 years. Okay. So you get a lot of stuff that may not necessarily be the best, but because it comes out, the search engines create this kind of bias potential, not on purpose, but the new innovations don't usually show up because they're new. Right? So then of course the referrals, and that goes back to the thing that we know that we don't know, right? We don't know what we don't know. and so for example, in my case, I mean, I know that you can actually have a very effective and visible, sustainable culture change in less than 80 days. However, okay, most people that are in the HR and all this stuff and everything else, they still think that it takes years to do culture change. Okay. And so therefore, based on what they know, they are going to hire people and then they will refer people based on what they know because they don't know what they don't know. So referrals are also somewhat biased. Okay. And this is where what we're trying to kind of overcome. So the first thing is discovery. Okay. By being in the metaverse, especially in the next 2 years, it's super easy to get discovered. Why? Because people are curious. I mean, they're going to come, they're going to, as long as people are going to want to figure out, well, what is this metaverse thing? It's learning and development. What is it all about? Okay. So the curiosity is definitely one of the things. Okay. The other thing, of course, again, is what we were talking about earlier is the combined solutions. Okay. Getting solution focused projects rather than just provider focused projects, okay, that where you can actually make sure that it's the people are getting this whole thing. And of course, creating how can we actually improve on what's been going on? So these are kind of the 3 things that what we, that we think that are primary reasons why people are going to come. And again, it's not about playing games, but it's about gamifying learning and ultimately the results that the learning provides. Okay, so these are the 3 things. Any comments? Please.
I had a questions. What are the current application for using Metaverse? Like if you can highlight, and this be really appreciated. Like
well, that was actually the current applications goes back to this one. Okay, this is what they've got: online games, design, like software, social networking, and then there's of course hardware related stuff with VR headsets, and then of course entertainment. Okay, that is the current applications of metaverses.
Sorry, I missed that slide. That's why I asked it. Sorry.
No worries, no worries. So of course, remember that there's also brands that are going in there. You've got like a lot of banks, and you got all these, Nike. You can buy shoes. Even McDonald's. You can go to a McDonald's in the metaverse and order food. So brands are also getting into it, but it's not. But right now, that's more of a novelty thing rather than a result thing. Okay, and yeah. So then. Here's a couple of things that I'd like to share with you that nobody's doing, and again, this is something that literally could blow people away. You just have, especially if you're in this in the beginning. Okay, so one of these would be learning tokenization. All right, now what does that that mean? Okay, so first of all, think about this, okay? How many of you do training? Yes, okay, training, yes, okay. So if you do training, you also realize that there are people that are sometimes go to your trainings and they don't really want to be there, so they're playing with their phone, okay? And then there's the people that really do want to be there. They're very excited and they're like, wow, this is awesome. And then they go back and then they try to implement what they've learned, but because they get busy and because all this other stuff, you know, it's just like, you know, it's tough. Does that happen? Okay, so now, what if, okay, just let me throw this at you, okay? What if a person that went to a training could actually get paid real money and real days off if they implemented what you taught? Do you think that that would give them additional incentive to just kind of overcome some of the barriers of being busy and so on? And we're not talking small money here. I mean, we're talking, you know, potentially thousands of dollars. Not like this play to learn stuff like 20 cents stuff.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, so here's the thing, okay? With learning tokenization, it's an NFT, okay? So that means that you as a trainer, provider, coach, consultant, whatever, okay, speaker, you go to these people. So you say, okay, I'm going to do this training for you, and based on my expertise, this is what it would look like if they implemented maybe 20% of the training. It would look like this. If they implement 50% of the training, it would look like this. If they implement more than 80%, it would look like this, okay? And you can create clear, defined behaviors of what it looks like if somebody is implementing your training. Does that make sense? Or coaching. Is that possible? Would you be able to do that? Okay, now, the organization already has a budget, okay? They have a training budget. Their job with a training budget is usually to get ROI on their training, which means rather than spending the whole training budget on training, they could take a percentage of that training budget and put it into NFTs that would be given at different levels of the, let's say, for example, level 1, 20%, okay? Now, of course, if you're implementing the training, that means that you're also doing good things for the company. So that means they could take a percentage of the annual bonus and put it into a level 2 NFT. Okay, does that make sense? And then, because, you know, there's extra days off and stuff like that. So at level 3, if you manage to do level 3, you also get extra days off. But if you're doing level 1, level 2, level 3, and besides getting all this extra money and days off, you're also going to be a pretty good candidate for leadership and, you know, possibly executive retreats to Bali. All right. So the company actually, the organization already has a measurement system that is automatically populated with extra money from budgets that they already have. And those people, the people that get them, are able to actually use this money based on what they achieve. This kind of thing actually takes very little effort to implement, but it does take more effort to get people to understand it. Does that make sense? But this is where it's going in the future, because eventually people will start doing it and other people are going to go, oh my gosh, how did you manage to do that? And so this is where, again, it comes into a situation where people are going like, whoa, you know, this is actual, real, visible results that you're getting through NFTs. Okay. Metaverse simulated implementation. Okay. Another thing. Okay. You have an AI that can actually ask you questions that sometimes are a little bit hard. Okay. Based on what you're trying to train. And when you do that, you also can get, how do you react to it? What do you do with it? So you can create all kinds of simulations. You can make accounting fun. teaching accounting can be fun because you've got this whole thing where, you've got these little simulations that, people make mistakes, or you got something that happens, or somebody embezzles some money or something like that, which may actually happen in the real world, but how do you, but how can you make it fun in a metaverse, right? So you can create stories in the metaverse, which is another key thing, okay? And the stories are going to be a key factor. And again, each of you have a story. Each of you have your own brand. Okay, does that make sense? Can you, any comments or ideas or anything that you can see where you can see how you can use your own story, your own brand, your own, ultimately, the ideas of what you're trying to get into people's brains and actions into something like
having these augmented realities of enabling people to visualize these stories or these messages, I'm sure it's going to impact, if like when it comes back to having these vision boards in terms of goals. So how, if we could imagine that we turn all of that to augmented realities, and you said like applied learning processes, I think it's gonna take the learning industry into a next level. And we know, like, we are all moving to e-learning, especially after the COVID and that multi-billion investments into that. So I think Metaverse would really help us if we can transfer that written knowledge into visualized applied learning process.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. Anyone else?
Yeah, and Arthur also, I mean, as we all know, I mean, stories is really still, I mean, we pretend it's not, but in today's world, more than ever, people look for intimacy, people look for connection, right? And stories is what creates that kind of connection. It makes abstract concepts real, right? And again, using these kind of stories in this learning environment and providing a space where more people can share their stories, so we kind of learn from each other and make it more tangible and concrete and practical. Very, very powerful. And I see that Patricia is saying here, yes, I've seen this used for diversity inclusion training. Great, Patricia. The question is now, how are you using it, right? Being the coach, consultant, trainer, speaker in your business, so that again, we stand out. And just again, overall to say, Arthur, I think the greatest benefit of all of that is it's real. In the world that we live in today, everything is so separated from each other, right? So even though the internet kind of in some way brings it together, but it's so crowded that people don't even know where to start looking for things anymore. And even then they find one piece of information. So again, we're in the metaverse, and these experts come together and kind of co-create together, right? And again, especially in our world where a lot of trainer speakers, still feel like I'm in competition to each other, really understanding that we're not competitors, but that we are really actually co-creating things together. It's this whole new world, this whole new concept is so powerful in so many different dimensions.
And that's the whole point, is that co-creation is really a key factor for, in at least in my opinion, for the future. And again, for another thing, you can, how sometimes you've got, have you ever been in a situation, somebody hires you, they give you a deposit, and then it turns out that the CEO changed their mind for the date, or changed their, or doesn't want to do the event or something like that, and then they call you back and ask for their deposit back. Okay, so here's another way to kind of do that protects you and the potential and the person. So by putting your speaking, for example, gig as here's 1 hour of my time, or here's 2 hours, or whatever, you can actually into an NFT that can actually be traded, which means that you could sell it to somebody else. You could sell it to a different, if you're a company, you could sell it to a different department or somebody else that's in the, the HR fraternity that you are, and people would still be, and of course it's still subject to your availability, but the thing is that your time now becomes an asset. So that's another way that, simple way to use NFTs, and that asset can be traded. And here's the thing, the more famous you get, the more valuable that asset becomes, right? So you can, kind of sell a few here, and then later on, as you become more famous, of course, you start charging more. And so, so that's a good way to kind of get people to buy your or keep your NFTs, so that their asset grows, and you can show them this is why my value will grow over the next 2 years. And so therefore they'll be able to kind of connect with the idea of having you as an asset that will grow in value. Does that make sense? Okay, so another thing would be certifications. Again, certifications, it's all on the blockchain. If you have something, say, for example, you've got a certification in coaching that you do, and you have to have a certain number of hours in order to get to the next level, you can actually connect that to a timer on an app. And as soon as that timer is finished, the NFT could change into a different level of master coach or something like that. Okay, so this is another application. Okay, and of course, events. I mean, talking about co-creation, right? Let's say, for example, that Hussein, okay, you create an event. Where are you located, Hussein?
UK Leeds.
Okay, so you're in Leeds, all right?
Leeds,
so let's
yeah.
say you're going to do a huge event in Leeds, okay? And so now what happens is that you kind of show the plan, you show everybody what's going on, and then you get a whole bunch of speakers to be involved. Okay. Now you can actually, let's say, for example, you have 100% of this of the revenue of this of this particular thing is divided into 100 NFTs. So that means your speakers, you could give away, let's say, for example, 5 NFTs to each speaker or something like that. And that way now the speakers actually get a benefit if they market your program.
Right, yeah. So it becomes like an asset, you're right, yeah.
But you can do this with clients too, right? So that means, hey, how would you like to send, I know that you only have a budget for, 3 people. How would you like to get, 5 people? All you have to do is basically here, buy this, for, your 3 people, and then you buy these percentages or these NFTs. And then when you send, when you share this with other departments or other divisions, okay, your people would be able to essentially go for free because, the more money that the thing makes, the easier it is for you to do it. And you can sell it based on, I don't know, the expenses plus, for example. Okay, so there's all kinds of ways that you can make this with partnering with clients, partnering with other speakers, where everybody basically has an opportunity to win. Okay, and so this is a Global Mentor Exchange. Okay, so again, Global Mentor Exchange, the whole purpose of this is to create a platform for speakers, trainers, consultants to show their stuff, show their story again, and co-create so that users or HR people will be able to find the best solutions for their organizations. Okay, I mean, ultimately, that's what we're trying to do with this. Okay, so the owner members are the trainers, coaches, consultants, speakers, and of course, we're serving the L&D practical people for, again, digital transformation, organizational development. Okay, whatever that may look like for your particular area of expertise. Okay. And so there's all kinds of things that were like client customization that can be done in this metaverse. Okay, so you've got all kinds of stuff where you've got actual for example, you could go to your client and you could say, hey, we want to create this whole environment for you based on your specific needs, your employees, your organizational culture, and whatever it is that you want to develop. Okay, do you think that now as a speaker, what you're selling initially is just your ability to speak, right? Okay, or training. But what if you could take it to the next level and help the people to take your expertise and put it into a metaverse platform that the company actually owns? So now you've got a different vertical for income. Does that make sense? Okay, and what we've created Wisdom City. Okay, but here's the thing: if people are looking on Google, Google is for everything. If they go to Facebook, even if it's the whole Facebook metaverse, Facebook is for everything, okay? The whole idea in any kind of marketing is to be very specific, very niche based. So for example, the metaverse that we're putting together is only for learning and development, okay? So for those of you doing, marketing and stuff, especially all the digital marketing, it's all about your niche, right? Any comments?
I love it. Looks like such a powerful place. And
Yeah.
looks even futuristic, looks sexy. I definitely want to move in there. Well, I've moved in it already, so.
Yeah, you actually have. Yeah.
I have an
Yeah, I
office
think-
already, right?
Yeah, I
You
think
do,
there
you
are
do.
many avenues still to explore, and it's about the simplicity, the competence, and the way how we can explain it to them in a way that they can really understand it clearly and simply. And I think that's where we should be into that stage. I think people would need to know the basic foundational of this new technologies, and then how it's really helped them from their perspective. I think this is the way, like, we need to find ways of how we can explain it in a very simple matter.
Well, absolutely. Here, let me just quickly show you the before going off onto this other thing. I had this. Let me see if I can find this other one.
I mean, let's say from that event, we were going to be a promoters for our clients and businesses. And I think most of us professional here, either they have a business or a speaker, a coach, and a consultant. At what level, if we were to take one thing from this whole event, we are educated now, we know how important it is, but how we are able to take this and now pass on to our clients and customers, and here we go, this is such a great service that we can do this. And I mean, from that perspective, where I'm coming from.
And so the statement, the simple statement that we came up with, and of course I'm happy to get feedback on this, is an AI assisted metaverse platform for trainers, coaches, speakers, and consultants to get noticed for their innovations in solving client problems. Okay, so that's kind of the short version of what we're trying to do. And here, let me just kind of go back to this other one. Okay, one of the key things though that is important, and this is again okay, now you guys are experts, right? Now here's what happens in my experience, is that the client is going to say, oh, this is what we need. And then you ask some questions, and then you find out that the client doesn't actually need that it would be better if they actually had this or this or this. Is that accurate for you guys?
Yeah, especially when it comes to coaching, Paul. They kind of have a specific chance, but when you take them through the strategic questioning process, you realize, no, the pain is something else. But
Yeah.
Just explaining to you the end results, not what made them to feel how they actually feeling.
Right, and even from like a training perspective, sometimes you'll get people say, "Oh, we need leadership training." Well, why? Okay, and this, and then you ask a few more questions, and it turns out they don't actually need leadership training. They need something that's a little bit more root cause related. And so then, it turns out, so because we're experts, we have all these abilities to see what they don't see. Okay. And so because this is a collaborative effort, this is another thing, is that we have an AI that we've put together. Now, of course, the AI does look a lot like me, but the not that I'm narcissistic, but okay, maybe a little. But the idea is that the AI is a combination of questions and ideas and stuff that is essentially put together by the members or owners of this metaverse, okay, who are all experts, well, like you guys, okay, and so this AI will be able to ask the right questions that'll ultimately help to create the right solutions or point them in the right directions. Okay, and that's a key factor, because first of all, I mean, just having a metaverse without, and not having somebody, and so everything starts in the library, and the AI essentially is the librarian. We also have like a wizard and stuff, but that, that comes later. Okay. And of course, it's got to be easy, right? So, you guys are not tech experts or graphic designers or 3D designers, and neither are the clients. Nobody wants to deal with the tech. So it's got to be super, super easy to adopt. Name and email address to log in, no crypto wallets or weird stuff like that that people get scared from, okay? All of that is important for the ability to make sure that this is adopted. Right now, these are some of the people that we're working with and some that we're going to be working with and trying to work with. Okay. And Monique is in there too, by the way, and Nirja. Okay. So again, how you put this together, with the AI, because so imagine that you are the librarian, right? So now you go in and you ask all these questions. So now the AI knows what you want. So once you're inside the metaverse, everything that appears before you is going to be somehow related to what you want. So your experience is customized from the very beginning, from when you're in that library. Okay. And so is the advertising, because that's part of the factor of how the place makes money, right? So basically, there's different types of things. So there's the element of making sure that essentially that the AI can think about your product. So if you're in there, the AI would actually be able to talk about your products, would be able to recommend your products, your expertise, your ability, can show little video clips of who you are. Hey, try this or try this, try this. Okay. Or here's a combination. Okay. And so all of this is important for the ability to essentially showcase who you are, what you can do, and more importantly, how you're innovative compared to other people. Because if somebody's searching on Google or searching on looking at one of your content on LinkedIn, they're not going to get specific things that are related to what that person wants. Does that make sense? And sometimes, for example, certain thought leaders may want their own AI. So for example, let's say that Dorleta, is that right? Dorleta, okay? Because, she wants to have her own avatar that looks just like her and knows everything about her and her material and her stuff. And, and so when it talks, at the moment, it doesn't sound like you, but it will act like you. Okay, so the way that you talk, the types of expressions, but not the voice. That's not something we've done yet. Okay, and then of course the gamification in the metaverse is super important because you got to make it fun for people to come in. Okay, so you'd be able to have your own coins, for example, that you would be able to have that you could say, so have a Francesco coin. Okay, for example. And the Francesco coin is maybe it's worth $2, and you give away a coin just it's like just for people to come over. Now here's the thing though, even if somebody collects like 50 of these coins, that's like basically, and there's only one place to spend them, and it's in your shop for your stuff. So these are different ways that you can advertise giving stuff away, which people are going, oh, I get to collect these coins. And oh, I just got $2. But when they actually come to spend it, they have to spend thousands of dollars, and they get like a $200. They can use their $200 worth of coins. Does that make sense?
Yes. I'm not really very confident with this kind of matter. I wanted to be. Now I am more about this situation, these things. I think it could be very useful for the project to implement some project and to implement some simulation of that project that you are improve and have some. Reaction about your project before you put in
Very true.
So no, I think there are a lot of interesting situation in this metaverse.
Good. And also the learning gamification
Yes,
can be taken to the next level compared to something like Zoom.
No, of course, for learning and activities are very, very useful because you really enter in the question. So I think there are a lot of situations that could be very useful for people.
Well, Arthur, I think you have tackled very, very critical issues that the e-learning marketing is facing. And I think this is going to be one of the great solutions, which is what? So let's take that situation, right, and scenario. So a lot of people that sign up for courses, right, for programs, online programs, right? But if there is no that accountability level, right, people end up just attending for the first day and then end up not. And I'm sure among the audience here, there's so many of us who have signed up for a lot of online programs, but they never returned back. They got distracted, they got other priorities. But the great thing about AI, you get this level of virtual interactions. So you feel someone is interacting with you and taking you to that process, rather than having the human of having the accountability partner to be with you in a Zoom call or take you through that journey. Now we're going to have that virtual reality to help us and take us through that journey. This means we are going to go in the next level of engagement and interactions. And that's what now is going to keep people enjoying the learning process. And you said the gamification. So I think it's going to solve a very critical problem of why people are not accountable and have that level of consistency and continuity of learning. I think it's kind of, we are ending up at like a seed, like the latest slides and kind of getting a clear idea. But honestly speaking, at the beginning, I wasn't really clear how that works. But thank you. Yeah, I think it's a really interesting thing that we just need to think about.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of possibilities. I mean, again, remember that a lot of it is going to be related to our marketing, okay? We are going into an era where now, I mean, we can be noticed more and more easily, and people can, I mean, people can understand what we do more easily in a story-based environment, and especially we're a collaborative environment where we are all helping each other to essentially succeed. I mean, even if you normally get, like, you know, say for example, 5 jobs a month, and then, you know, but now you've got an entire collective giving you, you know, different things where you can connect with. You may not get the same amount specifically from this avenue, okay, but you're going to get a lot of little bits and pieces. You may get 20 smaller pieces that actually add up to, you know, more money and, more importantly, more visible results for the client. Right? I mean, that's kind of the thing, right? And of course, if the client's getting like all these visible results, that means they're going to come back and they're going to tell their friends, and that means that everybody gets more business. So the collaboration factor is really a key thing. And so, you know, there are all the different ways to highlight your expertise is an important factor. Okay. And, you know, again, how to do it with, you know, specific things that the AI has done. You know, sometimes, have you ever had the client tell you, oh, you're too expensive? Yeah, right. So see, the thing is that with this kind of thing, with the AI and everything else, I mean, you're literally able to present something before, you know, so sometimes, because if you have the opportunity to really show what you can do, the budget sometimes gets bigger. Did you ever notice that? The problem is that sometimes people just focused on the budget and then cut you off before you even have a chance to show. This is the opposite. You get a chance to show before they actually know that, you know, the real budget. And they could say, oh, I'm looking for something in this budget. And of course, the AI is going to kind of figure that their budget can be stretched. Does that make sense?
And
Okay.
also we can apply this to physical products as well. So that means we give the user experience to the customers to try and test into a virtual reality before even the making buying decisions. So it's even a new marketing strategies that we need to include into that space. So
Absolutely.
yeah, it's getting more interesting.
Yeah, and later, right now we're not at this stage yet. Later, we're going to have all these different membership options where, you know, people will be able to go to different things. I mean, right now, we're not set up to the point of monthly. So right now we're only offering things like, you know, initial lifetime accesses to just to get people in that, you know, have certain expertise. But in the future, we'll be doing something like this where it'll be a monthly model. And the way that the member-owned community works also is it's also designed because, you know, sometimes you say, oh, I'm a member and I'm being part of this and everything else, but we actually want to reward people that are actually active, right? So so the way that it works is basically everybody is okay. So there's the owners, right? But now, let's say, for example, Nirja says, hey, I've got this really cool strategy. And let's say that Roy also has a cool strategy. And so there, you know, let's say that Nirja's and Roy's strategy are really cool. We all like them and then we vote on them. So first of all, coming up with a strategy is valuable. Okay, so they should be rewarded, especially if people like the strategy. Okay, and then of course, voting on the strategy is also important. So the people that vote should be rewarded. Okay, and of course, implementing, community, exactly. Thank you. And implementing this, actually taking action on the strategy is everybody's responsibility, but not everybody's going to do it. But the people that do should be rewarded. Okay, and so this is where we, you know, the metaverse, the system, the way that the whole thing works is designed in such a way where the member-owned community gets rewarded for being active. Okay, so more exposure, more, higher levels of access and things like that. Okay, so all of that is going to be because we want to because we have to gamify our own motivation also, not just the clients. Okay, and so of course the idea that we're also putting together is that all the members will be able to put together all of their own custom NFTs, and they'll be able to create various NFT things, and of course the way that we do this together, we have brainstorming sessions, we get strategy sessions. Oh, we have to start rounding it up. Okay, I'm ready. Okay, so let's but point is, within the system, we as providers will be able to kind of come up with different strategies where we would all be able to use our NFTs and have ways of connecting with clients and coming up with these things, creating bundles. There's things that can be redeemable, and of course quickly some additional revenue sources. Like you can actually buy a building, for example, in the metaverse that is at the moment like crazy cheap. And then you could, for example, if you bought a building with 100 offices, you could probably get an office for around less than $100 per office. And if you actually think of, and that's a 100 square meter office, that virtual meters, and then you could sell them for $500 or even $1,000 or $2,000 to a client or another trainer or speaker. Okay. Training tokenization, all of this stuff. Now you're a consultant for helping people to digitize and transform their human resources. The partnership with late starters, people that get in late, you can kind of let them use your stuff and charge them for it. You've got so anyway, this is kind of like the whole thing of thing, and these are some of the images from here. There's also a video that I put on there. Monique, I think you have the video link. Okay, and this is some of the images from, this is the library over here. This is access to Wisdom Tower, which is here. This one, Wisdom Tower, is where like Marshall Goldsmith and all these high level people and Monique, okay, have their offices, and I think Nirja as well. And so all the and then you can also have your own shops. Advertising, the portals open when you look for books, specific books that take you to specific shops. You can have events, all kinds of stuff, and that's basically it. That's all I got.
I think it's amazing. It's really like giving us, in a way, it's, it's really a new world. It's being co-created right now, right? With so much opportunity and addressing a lot of the challenges that we have been facing in the world of learning, learning development, speaking and so on, right? So I personally feel that again, often enough we feel like, oh, that's a trend, and that, maybe it passes, I mean, it's not going to come back. But there's some things in this world, like, augmented reality, metaverse, there's a lot of things right now, they will not pass. At some point, we need to start embracing it. And the earlier we are co-creating it, the more we are making it ours, right? And the more we kind of, can make an impact with it. And, again, as I said, I mean, we are speakers and thought leaders. We want to actually walk ahead and show others what's possible instead of always following all the trends, right? So I think I'm personally very excited to be on your side, Arthur, and, be part of this new world already. And all of you, again, if that is something that resonates with you, have a deeper conversation with someone like Arthur and others, and don't let it pass by. And then maybe 10 years down the line, we realize the old way of working is not working anymore at all. Our businesses get bust and we missed a train. So
that's what happened with COVID, right? I mean, people just weren't ready for it.
And again, a lot of the things that we in our world wanted to make happen for so many years, now with this new platform, new technology, is making it possible, right? Like a lot of things that you touched on, right? I mean, like people copying our content, in uncontrolled ways, right? And then making lawyers busy. I mean, all of that will be a thing of the past, right? All of us really co-creating together and allowing our clients to find these solutions in a combined space again. Powerful. Yeah, I'm a fan. So, but let's see, are there any kind of remaining questions in this space right here, right now? Or are you all saying, looks like a cool new world, but maybe I look at it in 10 years again? I hope not. I hope you start looking at it now. But what questions are there on your side about how you can get engaged, how you can use it for your own benefits?
Right. Since most of our products like coaching and consultants are intangible products, so I think having this AI reality is giving the people the experience to feel as a physical product. Like when, as you said, they move into that tower of knowledge and they see the books and they click in the books and then someone is replying back to them. We give them the sense of being like dealing with a physical product. And this is so now they see if we help them, one thing, if we help our clients and customers to visualize what does it look like for them to experience that knowledge and expertise, then we've really nailed it. Like we've really achieved that specific goal. And I think now, from my perspective, I would see it's our responsibility to the awareness and attention into the marketplace, education now. So that means we get interest, we create an interest and a desire, and then people now are gonna embrace the solutions that we're gonna provide. So I think it's gonna be 3 different stages, like education, awareness, and then put that into the marketplace, and then people start to buy into that once. But it's a great, we kind of highlight, because I've been to a number of situations, people talk of metaverse, but the way you did art, you showed us a case study. You showed us an actual application. What does it mean, a metaverse NFT? But now there's people, they talk about it, but not really aware what does the actual application of it. And now we have touched one avenue of online education. We could do it in other industries and so on. So I really appreciate this. And I think even I have to change my whole strategy around how I'm gonna deliver my products now in that perspective.
Awesome. If you guys want to contact me, here's my, I put my email here. And so this is what we got. And Monique, I think you have the other, okay, yeah. The Global Mentor Exchange is also a, is the link for the website of what we're putting together. Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, any other questions or thoughts, observations? What does it do with you? Getting a glimpse in this new way of coming together, learning, training. Neja, what about you? You catching up, Why did you decide to step into this? Ninja?
Yes, Monique, I was very excited when I heard Arthur speak at the APSS summit, and there are questions in my mind. So I started getting, engaging with the group, but then over a period of time, I've fallen a little behind, so I need to get back with what's been happening in the group. But I have questions. For instance, when you say co-creation or collaboration, does the same psychology work there? The kind of psychology that works in the real world? How does the alignment happen? So yes, I would say I'm still at that stage of really being able to visualize exactly how it will happen.
Well, I mean,
Yes.
ultimately, we're still human beings, right? I mean,
Yes.
okay, people are going to get left behind until something hits them in the face. It's like, oh shit, I got to come back and do this, or I should come, or now you see something else, and then suddenly it's like, wow, this becomes important again. I mean, ultimately, because I mean, this is development right now is what we're in. We've actually put together quite a lot in a rather relative short period of time, but the point being though that you progress as human beings, especially the psychology, you need to see the progress in order to be able to stay motivated.
Yes.
Right? And in technical development, sometimes you can't see all of the progress because some of it is code stuff that actually allows you to do certain things that don't really seem exciting yet because it's not connected to the other parts. Okay, so sometimes as things are moving and you don't have something that's super cool and exciting all the time, so then you kind of can just get a little bit more less interested. And let's say, for example, when we start promoting and building this for users to come in, which you can't do until you have enough people there, because if you get people to come in there and there's like only 27 users,
Yes.
not 27 members, it's not really going to be that exciting, right? But when you have about 150, okay, that's a good number. Now people would be able to look at various options for different things. The AI would be able to have a lot more stuff because there's more collaboration, more content, more ability to solve problems across a wider range. Okay, because you've got different people and expertise. Okay, so oh, that was you. So then the psychology still applies. Real world psychology still applies to how we do this, how we're gonna connect with each other, how much we collaborate, how much action we take. And also, I mean, ultimately, are you the person that is going to be the person that is the leader and mover and shaker and get everybody else excited, or are you going to wait for other people to get you excited? And sometimes we're both.
I have a question. I am always very critical thinking. I understand the advantage, but at the same time, right now, I am very close working with education, even though I'm in the automotive industry, but my department is mainly taking care of education and training. I'm a trainer for trainers. And one of the things that I know is we started to create lots of e-learnings that they are very interactive. So what is the benefits? What's the difference between creating, I go to an e-learning, yeah, I can learn whatever I want. And it's very interactive as well. Click here, and then you have this, then you go back, then you click there, at the end you have a quiz, and then you pass it and you get your certification. That's the things that we are doing it. Short and interactive. What is the difference? What is the difference, and what are the benefits, or what extra benefits can have the NFS?
Okay, well, Dorleta, first of all, you have to look at the idea that interaction has been around for, I don't know, 20 years. Okay, I mean, it's nothing that isn't new. Okay, short is better. 5 years ago, like, you have 1 hour sessions, which is not as useful. But ultimately, see, the thing is that Interactive in what way? Are you interacting with other people? You're not. Okay, you don't have that collaboration with other people. You don't have the, and what we're talking about in the metaverse is, again, okay, let's just look at the potential. Do you go to the movies? What kind of movies do you like?
Every kind. Yeah, it's that horror.
Okay, Marvel. Okay, Marvel movies. Okay, so let's say, for example, if you were able to go into a Spider-Man movie and learn, about something related to leadership, or actually Captain America movie, okay, but you're in the story. Okay, you're part of the story, and you're connecting with other people who are also part of the story, who are also trying to learn stuff. Okay, so it's not necessarily about clicking or this or that. It's about stories that are presented and helping you to learn through those stories, where you are part of the story.
Okay, that means a lot of those people, they need to be available all the time when you need them.
Or the AI, which can emulate certain elements.
But we do have AI. Well, anyhow,
Conversational
it's really kind of because stepping into the frame, becoming the learner in interaction, right? Doletta, it's not like I'm taking information, I'm taking it in. It's more like I am becoming, I'm stepping into the learning experience, right? Like what Arthur said, is if I'm stepping into a movie, as if I'm one of the heroes in the movie. Another thing also I think it's beneficial is e-learning is amazing, and in so many ways, right? It's a lot of advanced compared to what we had before, always adapting it to the latest trends and ways of learning, like making it shorter and everything else. But again, an e-learning tool or an e-learning course is still just one e-learning course. So now from one kind of expert or a selected number of experts. So now in the metaverse, again, people can more pick and choose. They're not going through one course anymore from A to Z. They pick and choose from whatever is available, different bits and pieces, or whatever is needed for them in that moment in a bigger way. I think that's also another advantage. And then also doing it really in a gamification way, as Arthur said, right? Doing it in a more playful way and really also being rewarded, like in a monetized way, being rewarded for making progress of learning and then being able to invest that back. Right. I mean, I've seen some leaders start, adapting their learning platforms already according to that, right? Where you need to select a certain number of points and you get additional content opened and so on. But in the metaverse, all of that will be much more dynamic and much more tailored by being in the experience itself. So I don't know if that, I don't know, Arthur, you're the expert. You should, did I explain it correctly?
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Good. Dolita, is that answering your question, or?
Yeah, you answered the question. I need to compare more what are the benefits, and I see a benefit when there is a lot of more people involved, as actually Arthur mentioned. Yeah, if there are only 20 people, how can you have so much different experience, even with the artificial intelligence, which we use it already inside of the e-learnings too?
Okay, wait, let me give you a little bit of an idea of the AI. It's what's called a hyper conversational AI. Okay, it's not a chat bot.
Okay.
Okay, you can it'll ask you questions that and based on your responses, in a normal way of talking, you can ask the AI to write a poem about leadership, and it'll come up with something, and you can ask it again and it'll come up with something different. It's not your chatbot kind of thing, or click here if you want this, or click here if you want that kind of thing. It's not that.
Okay.
So just to clarify.
Thank you. Unfortunately, I have to go to a meeting, but I must say before that, thank you very much to both of you, Monique, to prepare these meetings, and Arthur, of course, to sharing your information. I find it super interesting, and I have to say thank you again for giving the opportunity to learn more about it. Thank you. Take care. I have to
Bye-bye.
work. I have to work. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Great. Thanks to Letta and everyone for being on with us. I think we start rounding it off. But again, everyone that is still here with us. So first of all, let me thank you, Arthur, for being on and sharing your wisdom and giving us a glimpse into what is possible and what you're co-creating right now. And I'm happy to be part of that amazing opportunity. So all of you, if you want to connect with Arthur, definitely get in touch. He shared his email address, he shared his platform. Check out the other video. Again, this will be, I know some of you had to step in late or had to leave early. We're definitely going to make the recording available, so tap into it again. And also, let me also say, on our own site, the HeartPowered Speaking, we are running like our Speak and Booster Challenge again, the fabulous, famous one again in October, where we're going to guide people through the roadmap and then the blueprint of how to step up with speaking in a greater way, how to get your message out there in a greater way. Join us on that one. So I don't want to miss, again, sharing that link with everyone that joined us late. But Arthur, why don't we round off our conversation with some kind of wise words of wisdom from your side, giving people, again, a glimpse into what is not actually the future anymore.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, ultimately, technology is never the answer to solving a problem. Technology is a tool to help human beings solve a problem. Okay, so that's kind of the philosophy that we're doing. This whole metaverse thing, it's technology, but ultimately the design, the creation, for that matter, any of the technology that we've put together. We've got this app called Squadly. It's a behavior gamification app. It is designed only for the ability to support human beings to implement change, to create the world that they want to do. So it is an augmentation. It is not a solution.
Love it. Beautiful. Thank you for being on with us, and thank you all for being on. I know a lot of people had to step out already. And again, next month in October, again, we have another amazing guest. So keep an eye out on our HeartPowered speaking community calls every month. And thank you, Arthur, for being here, inspiring all of us and igniting everyone. So connect with Arthur, explore how you can create more magic together, and see you all in our HeartPowered Global Nation and beyond. And see you next week in Dublin. Yay, at the Global Speaker Summit.
Yes.
Right. So
Thank
let's have fun,
you.
everyone.
Thank you, Arthur.
We'll be in touch.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks all.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.